You're being dramatic. I haven't traded you in. Not yet, she said with a sly grin after I caught her messaging another man. I stayed quiet, picked up my keys, and walked out. She rang me an hour later, asking where I'd disappeared to. I replied, just giving you space to line up your next option without any interference from me, then blocked her. Hey everyone, before we jump into the story, please hit that subscribe button and drop a like if you'd love to see more tales like this one. Thank you. There's a certain stillness that arrives when a 6-year romance dies with one short sentence. It isn't peaceful quiet, nor is it mournful silence. It's the quiet that comes when an entire framework shatters so thoroughly that nothing remains to drift down. My name is Leo. I work as a lead systems designer. My whole existence runs on reason, backup systems, and the principle that when one component breaks, the whole structure should hold. I brought that mindset into my relationship with Clara. I believed I was constructing a stronghold. In truth, I was simply covering the payments on a fragile stack of cards. For 6 years, I was the main supporter. I don't mean that in some old-fashioned boastful way. It's simply the numbers of our reality. My income places me in the top 5% of my profession. Clara, meanwhile, spent the past 4 years building her image as a lifestyle advisor. In practice, that meant I covered the $4,000 monthly rent for our central apartment, the payments on her premium SUV, her medical coverage, and every dish she photographed for her 12,000 online followers. I never complained. I cared deeply for her. Or more accurately, I cared for the version of her I met at 23, when we squeezed into a tiny flat that smelled of discount pizza and big dreams. I still recall staying late at my entry-level coding position just to afford the high-quality camera she wanted for her goals. I also remember writing that $18,000 check for her mom's knee operation 2 years back, money I never requested back, even though her mother, Linda, always showed me the same offhand contempt that Clara later picked up. But while I advanced up the career path, Clara built a different kind of ascent, one constructed from pride and outside approval. The more I supplied, the less regard she showed. It began with subtle remarks during dinners with friends. "Leo is so dependable," she'd comment, twirling a glass of the wine I'd purchased. "He's like a steady washing machine. You always know what he'll do, day after day. It's a little overwhelming for someone like me. I crave excitement." Our friends would give uneasy chuckles. I'd simply grin, assuming she was teasing. I overlooked the warning signals because I was too occupied with 60-hour work weeks to make sure she never faced a dull moment. The gym triggered everything. She signed up for an upscale fitness center, again using my membership, and suddenly Marcus appeared. Marcus was a fitness coach and self-proclaimed health guru. 10 years my junior, his body looked sculpted by supplements and endless spare hours, and his personality was about as lively as damp cardboard. Yet to Clara, he represented thrill. I started picking up on the shifts. She'd stay glued to her phone until 2 in the morning, screen glow lighting her face while she quietly laughed at texts. When I asked who was texting, she'd bite back. "Seriously, Leo? It's only Marcus. He's advising me on nutrition tracking. Not every message is some plot. Your paranoia is honestly tiring." I wasn't paranoid. I was paying attention. I noticed how she always kept her phone screen down. I noticed the new underwear purchases that never appeared when we were together. Then came the evening that shattered everything. It was a Tuesday. I'd just wrapped a brutal work cycle and arrived home near 8 p.m., hoping for a calm meal together. Clara lounged on the couch, legs propped up, swiping on her device. She didn't glance up as I entered. "Food's in the fridge," she said flatly. "Kale mix. I'm cleansing with Marcus." "I thought maybe we could eat out," I replied, placing my computer bag aside. "I just landed a huge deal. I wanted to mark the moment with you." She released an exaggerated exhale. "Mark the moment? Leo, you sign big deals every few weeks. That's your job. It's hardly special. Plus, Marcus is sharing some fasting studies with me, and I need to concentrate." Right then her phone vibrated. A notification appeared on the slightly angled screen. A picture. Marcus shirtless in a gym-changing area, caption reading, "Remembering our workout today. Looking forward to the next one." Winking emoji. My chest felt a deep, slow impact. I stepped closer and stood directly before her. "Clara, who exactly is Marcus?" She finally lifted her gaze, eyes tightening. She didn't appear ashamed. She looked irritated. "I already told you, he's my coach. Quit acting like some stalker looming over me. He just sent you a half-naked picture mentioning your workout with a wink, I said, voice surprisingly steady despite the heat building inside. Are you involved with him? Clara didn't blink. Instead, she reclined, a smug, cutting smile spreading. She grabbed her phone and began replying while I stood there. Leo, you're blowing this way out of proportion, she said, tone thick with superiority. I haven't upgraded you yet. She gave a short, biting laugh. I'm simply checking out possibilities. Someone like me has to make sure she's with the top choice. Right now you're the secure pick, but Marcus, he's the thrilling one. Why are you turning this into a crisis? It's not like I invited him to move in. Yet marked the total collapse. I stared at her, and suddenly everything cleared. I no longer saw the person I'd shielded for 6 years. I saw an entitled, self-absorbed stranger who treated my life and emotions like her personal amusement park. You haven't upgraded me yet? I echoed. Exactly, she answered, eyes returning to her screen. So go eat your greens and relax. You're being extremely dull right now. I gave no reply. No shouting. No demand to inspect her messages. I simply turned, entered the bedroom, collected my backup car keys and my emergency travel bag, the one always ready for sudden work travel. I took my passport, work laptop, and the secure folder of important papers. I passed through the living area again. Clara never looked up. She was busy messaging her potential improvement. I exited the apartment, entered my car, and headed to a nearby business hotel. An hour passed before my phone lit up repeatedly. Clara, 9:15 p.m. Where are you? I wanted Thai food, and your card declined. Did you mess with the account? Clara, 9:20 p.m. Leo, stop this nonsense. I'm starving and need to pay for my ride. Answer me. Finally, she phoned. I let it ring 3 times, then picked up. Where the hell are you? She snapped. She sounded more furious than concerned. I tried using the Amex for delivery, and it failed. You better not be messing with money because you're upset. I'm at a hotel, Clara, I said. My tone was cool and businesslike. A hotel? Oh, please, you're acting like a child throwing a tantrum. Get back here now. We can discuss your emotions if you're going to behave this immaturely, but fix the card issue first. I won't be returning, I answered, and I didn't tamper with anything. I removed your access privileges. It's my account, remember? One of those tedious practical matters I manage. Silence stretched across the line. Then her tone became razor sharp. You have no right. How am I supposed to survive? I'm simply allowing you space to locate your next provider without me blocking the path, I replied. Leo, hold on. Goodbye, Clara. I ended the call and blocked her contact. I didn't wait for follow-up attempts. I cut her off across every platform. The entire framework had failed. The restart process had already launched. The following 48 hours passed in razor-sharp focus. As someone who designs systems, I understood that corrupted data must be erased completely. The apartment came first. I was the only name on the rental agreement. I contacted the property manager, paid the early exit penalty plus the remaining 3 months. I arranged a premium moving team and offered triple pay for urgent service. I met them Wednesday morning, aware Clara would be at the fitness center with Marcus. Every corner revealed my effort and her extravagance. That $6,000 designer couch? Mine. The massive 75-inch television? Also mine. I observed the crew pack up our shared existence in 3 hours. I deliberately left the main bed and her wardrobe. All other items went into secure, climate-controlled storage she couldn't access. By 1 p.m. the place stood empty and hollow. I gave the finished keys to the locksmith installing the last security lock. Only you and the owner have copies now. I confirmed. Correct, sir. On the kitchen island, I placed one thing. A printed lease cancellation letter and the storage company's contact card. Next to them, a $500 check. The precise amount I estimated she might need for temporary lodging a few nights. The indirect attacks began around 6 p.m. With Clara blocked, she enlisted her mother, Linda. I took one call to establish clear limits. Leo, is this you? Linda's pitch was shrill. Leo, what in the world is happening? Clara phoned me in hysterics. She claims the locks were changed and everything inside is missing. Have you gone insane? Actually, Linda, I've come to my senses, I said. I relocated. The lease is canceled. I'm no longer covering Clara's living expenses. You can't just do that. She has nowhere to stay. You owe her shelter. I owe her nothing, I answered. Clara made it clear she was searching for my replacement. She described Marcus as the thrilling choice and me as merely the reliable one. I've simply withdrawn the reliable option so she can fully pursue her thrilling future. The funding has ended, Linda. If she needs housing, she should contact Marcus. Goodbye. I disconnected and blocked her number 2. The following 3 months served as a textbook example of diminishing value for Clara. I never had to investigate. Our shared social network was tight enough that updates reached me naturally. Clara had relocated to Marcus's modest one-bedroom unit he shared with another guy. The so-called health businessman owned no vehicle and had no savings. Marcus was essentially an opportunist. He pursued Clara thinking she had serious money. Once he discovered she was merely a passenger riding my steady income, his attention vanished quickly. Meanwhile, I embraced the so-called dull existence. I accepted a vice president role in a city 2 hours distant. I purchased a modern high-floor apartment overlooking the water. Glass walls, clean lines, and peaceful quiet. I focused on work. I walked trails. I attended performances by myself. I discovered how pleasant my own company could be without constant criticism in the background. The late-night messages resumed after Marcus predictably betrayed her. Clara began using anonymous messaging services. Anonymous, 11:45 p.m., Leo, please. Marcus shoved me. Not too hard, but still. He's unstable. I'm staying at a Motel 6. I realize what I said before, but I was only trying to provoke you. Doesn't 6 years count for something? Anonymous, 2:15 a.m. I checked your LinkedIn. Vice president already? That's amazing. I'm genuinely happy for you. Can we please speak? I'll change completely. Therapy, anything. Just don't abandon me like this. I read them from my balcony, holding a glass of aged single malt. I felt absolutely no impulse to save her. When a structure has been condemned due to weak groundwork, you don't rush back in when cracks begin appearing. Her brother's call represented the last attempt. Leo, she's falling apart, Dave said over the phone. She's wondering if you'd consider some kind of financial help. She claims you took her prime years and should give her a new beginning. I actually gave a quiet laugh. Dave, she was the one who called me disposable. Let her know she should have valued the dependable option when it was available. The support program has closed. 6 months later, I wasn't merely getting by. I was genuinely thriving. New residents, new habits, and most importantly, a new companion. Ava worked as a structural engineer, intelligent, realistic, with a sarcastic humor that made my systematic thinking feel like common ground. The annual City Design Excellence Gala was the highlight event. I delivered the main address. I stood near the upper railing with Ava beside me, radiant in a rich green gown. You're calculating whether this balcony can handle the crowd weight, aren't you? She teased softly. I smiled. Actually, I was appreciating how good this drink tastes. That's when I noticed her. Clara lingered near the entrance, looking completely out of place. She wore a dress I knew well, a gold beaded gown I'd purchased for her birthday 3 years earlier. Several beads were missing. Her appearance seemed drained and desperate. She saw me and started pushing through people. X? Ava asked quietly. More like a shadow, I answered. Stay near me. Clara arrived at the railing, breathing hard. She completely ignored Ava. Leo, she panted. I never imagined you'd attend. You look amazing. I watched you speak on stage. I felt so proud. I told people around me. That's my Leo. It's simply Leo now, Clara. And I'm here because this is my professional world. Why are you present? I'm trying to re-enter the circle. It's been really tough, Leo. I replay that Tuesday constantly. I was an idiot. I was terrified of how deeply I felt for you. So I tried pushing you back. You didn't push me away, Clara. You openly stated you were shopping for my replacement. I was only teasing, she said, voice cracking louder. It was a way to get your attention. You were always working, and I needed to know you still cared. And you did. That shows we have something valuable left. Clara, this is Ava, my fiancée. The word struck her physically. She actually stepped backward. Fiancé? It's only been a year, Leo. You're already engaged? You truly moved on that fast. You simply exchanged me for an improved version. I didn't exchange you, Clara, I said, leaning slightly closer. You can't exchange something that never really existed. You were an illusion. Ava isn't an upgrade. She's a true teammate. We're creating something that doesn't demand one person carries everything while the other shops for something shinier. Clara's expression changed. The fragile act disappeared, replaced by the familiar aggressive entitlement. You think you're so superior now, don't you? She hissed. Here with your fancy awards and new woman. You're still the same predictable man, Leo. Without me, you'd still be stuck in some ordinary house staring at technical drawings. I brought energy to your life. People nearby watched the scene unfold. Clara, I said calmly, I simply stopped being the foundation you walked over. You'll regret walking away. She spat, angry tears running down. When she tires of your boring charts and meetings, you'll realize I'm the only one who ever really tested you. I haven't even started showing my full potential. I finished my drink and passed the glass to a server passing by. I looked at Clara and felt absolutely nothing. Actually, Clara, I said, a small, composed smile appearing. I think you're being dramatic. I haven't completely let go of our past yet. She blinked. A brief spark of hope appeared. But, I continued, I plan to be entirely finished with it by the end of this sentence. There. Done. You're now officially an obsolete system, Clara. No longer supported, out of date, and fully decommissioned from the active version. She stood frozen, mouth slightly open, the gold beads on her dress reflecting light in a way that looked worn and sad. Leo, please. Goodbye, Clara. Enjoy chasing excitement. I'll choose calm. I turned away. I didn't linger to watch her reaction or see if security guided her out. I took Ava's hand and continued toward the main hall. As we approached the entrance, the host's voice filled the room. And the award for outstanding urban development goes to Leo Vance. I stepped onto the stage to enthusiastic applause. I looked across the audience. She was gone, disappeared into the distant corners. A faded figure in a dress that no longer suited her. Final note, that happened 3 months ago. Clara made one last desperate effort. She mailed a 20-page handwritten note to my workplace. I shredded it after the first paragraph. Reason tells you not to store garbage at your desk. According to Dave, she's now working reception at an auto showroom. Marcus is serving time. My days are wonderfully ordinary. I rise at 6 a.m. I share morning coffee with my future wife. Some consider predictability a negative trait. But once you've constructed something truly strong, predictability becomes another word for freedom. The framework holds steady. The base runs deep. And the perspective from this height is exactly what I designed it to be. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and give this a like. What are your thoughts on this story? Drop them in the comments below.